Now, something I've been getting asked a whole lot more about lately is what are the best ski touring boots for wide feet? Now, traditionally this has been something that's been a little bit harder to cater for, but this side of the sport has been growing exponentially. Now, if you have some wide feet and want to get into some backcountry skiing, here are my top picks that you should look at. So the first one we can look at here is the Dynafit 7 Summits. Now, what's great about this boot is it is likely the widest off-the-shelf dedicated backcountry boot with a 104.5mm last. So right away it offers good volume and width up front. But on top of this, the lower shell is also made with a PU. So if you find yourself often having to stretch your alpine downhill boots a bit further, this one can also respond well to that. Now, it doesn't lack in the technicality. When in walk mode, this also has 60 degrees range of motion through the cuff, and it also is pretty respectable weight-wise at 1,520 grams. So with 3 cable extended buckles, a custom ready liner, this is one that can just get you straight away quite comfortable and out in the backcountry with ease. So a really nice option. Next up on this list is a boot from Scott, and this model is known as the Cosmos Tour. Now, this Cosmos Tour is built off the same architecture as the previous Cosmos 3 with a wider fitting 103.5mm last, but now they've made a few improvements, in particular the weight. Now, this boot is a super light 1,390 grams, but other things they've done to this one is they've actually removed one of the buckles up front. You now only get 3 micro adjustable buckles, but one is then extended by a cable up front. The other thing they have also adapted and made better is the ski hike mechanism on the back. Now, it's a full metal, so very dependable, but it's now adjustable to 2 forward lean angles. Also with this one, the reason it is so light is the plastic they're using. It is made with a acrylamide. And also the travel you get out of this one is a lot at 60 degrees range of motion through the cuff. So the Cosmos has been around for a while and has always been successful with wider feet. The new and improved Cosmos Tour is really worth checking out. Then if you're a bit of a bigger guy, or perhaps you just shred really hard, another boot I highly recommend checking out is this Dynafit Hoji Pro. Now, the Hoji Pro is probably one of my favourite boots in this category, as it does include some quite unique features. Now, not only is it a wider fitting 103.5mm last, but it still has its focus on being a solid downhill performance boot within a backcountry setup. So it is pretty lightweight. It is a carbon infused acrylamide which weighs in at 1,450 grams, and you also get 55 degrees range of motion through the cuff. Now, what really starts setting this boot apart is the Hoji lock system. Now, this lock system on the back, actually when it's put back into hike mode, lifts the internal structure inside the cuff completely up and out of the way. At the same time, it also releases the tension on the cable, which attaches to both the top buckle and to the power strap. So you have a really quick, easy transition in between ski and hike mode, and you don't have to back off the buckle or power strap tension at all. So one that is really nice, wider fitting. It also has a really cool crampon system, which actually can secure directly into the sole of the boot with what's known as a cramp in from Salewa. Next up, we have a brand new boot from Dalbello, and this one is called the Lupo MX 120. Now, the Lupo MX is actually quite unique. What Dalbello's done is actually followed the similar cabrio design to some of their other boots, but then completely removed and eliminated the front progressive flex tongue. Instead, what they've done is gusseted this boot the whole way up the front and then included a new closure system of 2 ratchet buckles with the lower one connected to a cable through the midfoot, and then up the top they've connected that strap to a wider wrapping cuff strap. Now, this boot is in the wider fit category. It has a 102mm last included with Contour 4, so some wider feet will settle into this really nicely. But also what sets this boot apart is the massive range of motion when it is in walk mode. Now, it has 67 degrees of cuff articulation, so very nice for the skin track. Now, weight-wise, it's not outstanding. You're looking at 1,500 grams, so essentially what I'd consider pretty mid-range, but I really like the progressive view they've taken on this boot design, and I'll be interested to see how people feel once they're skiing in it. And then the last one we can talk about here, and it's going to be one that's great as your sort of one ski boot quiver, and that is the Full Tilt Ascendant. Now, the Ascendant is available in two different versions. There's the Ascendant Approach and the Sammy Carlson Pro. Now, there is a few slight differences between the two, but both are a wider fitting 102mm last based off their Evolution shell. Now, they are heat moldable from a shell perspective too, so quickly adaptable even further for wider feet. What's great about this one is just how solid they feel when they ski, and the other thing I really like is the Intuition liners, so super comfortable and very moldable. Now, there is a difference with the Approach being a Gorilla-Mid plastic. It's a little bit lighter at around the 1,870 grams, whereas the Sammy Carlson has a little bit more power and is built with a PU and arrives at about 1,970 grams as its finished product. So they're a little bit heavier, but they're also a little bit more dependable from a skiability factor. So just another one I think is highly worth checking out if you want one that's going to be very versatile and can do everything.